My name is Sophia Santitoro. I turned 21 in exactly 2 weeks.
Happy early birthday.
Very strange. Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually an environmental earth and soil science major, but renewable energy has kind of always been on my mind as well, considering it's like just going to school every day, having to see those like those leaf blowers and stuff, just practically blowing exhaust on my face. I've always hated those. Can't wait till we get rid of them. Yeah, like how my parents switched to electric car early, the 2011 Nissan Leaf. So that was cool. And we've since upgraded to a car with about twice the range at the same price. But then also with our solar panels, and especially now with the Tesla batteries, our electricity bill is pretty low. I do have an electric bike, though. I'm mainly into soil restoration. Like you see, like those like dirt paths, just kicking up sand just by moving your foot. That's all extremely degraded soil, and yeah, just want to learn how to give it the right kind of TLC, get it back. Like, so I'll probably be working in places like probably my home county of Ventura County, since it's a lot of farmland there, as well as probably up in the Central Valley, where that's becoming more and more of a problem. Kind of looping that back in with renewable energy. I've been reading about how in some places you can put solar panels on top of your crops, like if they like partial shade. One of the only ones I can think of is like with soil, like you need to know what's beneath your foundation before you build, say, a wind turbine. Like you need to know what you're building under. So, because for example, there's apparently some clay minerals that expand when they get wet and then shrink back down when they're dry. And yeah, that'll destroy foundations like nobody's business. Yeah, like basically you need to know, basically like there's certain kinds of soil that are good for building foundations on, like even for a battery plant and whatnot, and which ones to avoid at all costs. So I guess I could like consult in that area as well. Just going to like electrify public transit. I can't wait for that too. And also like using electric vehicles to help prevent blackouts. Like I don't know where you're at right now, but living in Southern California, like with rolling blackouts, like thankful the Tesla batteries, we haven't had to worry about it, but hopefully like allowing vehicles to discharge into the grid during like peak hours will help. Like will hopefully prevent those blackouts, which it's like if you need some sort of one of those COPD things that requires electricity and whatnot, yeah, you need that electricity. You can't afford a blackout. It was my first scholarship, so I was surprised and very happy. And it took out a decent chunk of my tuition this academic year, which helped prevent me from having to take out student loans, which I've heard are an absolute nightmare. I personally think a lot of it is on the political level. Like there are a lot of politicians out there that say windmills give you cancer. Like, first of all, it's wind turbines. I hate when they say that. But just having to overcome a lot of the negative connotations that some people have with renewables, and also encouraging them to vote so we can get politicians in places where they can make renewable energy more mainstream, like get all fancy subsidies and stuff. Yeah, so with my botany class and most recently the soil science class I'm taking, I plan on bringing that back to my garden, helping my dad kind of restore our soil because it has. I was actually able to look it up on a database a couple days ago. It has almost no organic matter, which is why very few things want to grow in it at the moment. Like figuring out which minerals to add to the soil, which to avoid. Like also just with botany in general, I know I can learn which plants some plants can actually benefit each other if they're grown next to each other, as opposed to being monocultures like those fields of corn you see out in the Midwest. And also there's also with the earth science can also get in there a bit too with my career, because along with soil science, because soil is part of the earth, it's like both of my Professor Stokes classes emphasize that the soil is the intersection between the ground beneath us, the water and the air, and life. So being able to bring those concepts together, like which soils are most likely to undergo liquefaction, like during an earthquake. I had a short stint with the Friends of the Santa Clara River. They've been doing some, they call it ethnobotanical gardening. Like they're basically planting a bunch of native plants near the Santa Clara River, but that's down in Ventura County. But now that I'm up here, I found Cal Poly Center for Service in Action, as well as when I first got here, the Garden Club. It's a bit of a hike up to the, they actually have a student experimental farm. It started as a senior project, and now just it's more of a community garden, as well as a couple private plots in this one spot where it's a class doing a specific experiment. They even have a hydroponics thing, which is really cool. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I am usually the most talkative person in class, but that's because I want to learn. I want to make sure I heard something correctly. And yeah, most teachers like it. And if they don't want you to do something, they'll kind of ask you, like, please tone it down. And I've only had that once so far, which is great. But yeah, I personally, this is also a bit of a failing of mine. I don't have, I haven't actually been out to the city of SLO yet, even though I've been here for 2 months. But yeah, so there's that. Like I want like a future student like to be able to get a bit of a better work-life balance than I personally have. I struggle with that, as do many people with COVID and all that.
I'm a student for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, don't let assignments creep up on you. Be able to say no when your friends want to go out, but you have a big assignment due soon. You know, all the typical stuff. Yeah. Also, for a new student, take advantage of office hours. Unless you really, really do not get along with that teacher, take their office hours. And if you don't get along with the teacher, find a different teacher's office hours, and hopefully you'll be able to figure something out.
Yeah, office hours are definitely very helpful.
I found a local place where they take pet shampoo, buy the 55-gallon barrel, put it into consumer-sized bottles, and then make a little extra profit by selling those barrels for like $35 a piece. And yeah, wash them out. Free rain barrels. Well, not free, but yeah, because what you do, you cut off the pipe that leads from the gutter down to the sewer. You cut that off. You cap the thing at the sewer for obvious reasons, and yeah, you just kind of nudge the thing underneath. maybe have a little elbow thing, make sure it gets in properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my roof is a really large surface area, so if we get a big enough storm, we can get about, I believe, 500 gallons of water.
Oh wow.
And that can last for quite a while. It's not drinkable, sadly, but can use it to fill up water, can use it to water plants and stuff, and that can last for over a month or two, depending on how dry it is. I usually, I've been trying to convince my dad to do this, but what I personally do is when my laptop is fully charged, I unplug it until it's down to maybe 70% or so, and then I just plug it back in, so it's not just constantly, because sometimes you're kind of idling your laptop, go and watch TV or something. But also, other than, well, this isn't really conservation. It's definitely good to get an electric stove because gas stoves release benzene and whatnot, as well as hopefully an electric water heater, but which sadly will add to the electric bill. But there is definitely would be definitely good to see if solar panels are right for your home. Like sometimes there are too many trees in the way, or you have a north-facing roof. But it's definitely good to see the options there. Make sure you don't have any leaks in a roof before you put the solar panels on, because then you have to take them all off. Lesson learned there with my parents.